What is up, y'all? Welcome back to another episode of the Two Game Podcast, episode number 150. 150. I am here today with Chris Norman, who I haven't talked to in what feels like a year. How are you doing, sir?
Feels like 2 or 3, if I'm being honest with you. But I'm surviving, buddy. I'm here. I'm ready to roll for once. So
Ready to rock and roll, huh?
Yep.
Yeah, man, it's been a while. Which it's been so long since I've talked to you that I haven't told you one thing, and I don't want you to get your hopes up when I tell you this thing here in a little bit. But something may be happening in the old background, and you may have a little inkling of a suspicion back there. But again, I don't want you to get like super excited about it. Like I'm a cock tease you first for just a second.
Am I supposed to guess? Or am I just supposed to contain my...
You can.
Something may be happening in the background.
Maybe.
I'm assuming it's a stagnant game that I've been trying to get you to play forever.
Ah, dude's on the right course.
That brings us down to Persona 5.
Indeed, sir. I played a little bit the other day.
Nice.
Trying to jump back into it.
There it is.
Trying to jump back. I started playing it. I was like, I have fucking no idea where I'm at. Go to the cafe to study. I'm like, where the fuck is the cafe at?
Yeah, how many hours did you get into that?
Oh, you mean like into the actual game itself?
Mm-hmm.
I mean like 13.
Not just when you picked it back up, but like your total playthrough, where you left off at.
I think I'm 12 or 13 into it.
Oh, never mind. You're a pretty good chunk into it. I was going to say, if you just started it, start over and relearn, but not that long. You just have to Google to fill in the blanks.
Yeah, that's exactly what I did. I was like, where is the cafe in Akihabara? Which, by the way, I was going to bring this up during the playlist, but now that I've been to Japan, bro, game is completely different to me.
That's probably a very valid point. I bet it does hit different now that you've actually seen some of the places that it's trying to mimic, huh?
Exactly.
Interesting.
And because I've walked those streets a little bit, I'm not saying they're like a 1-to-1 copy. That's not necessarily the case. But like the underground, the subway system and shit like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm familiar with it now.
All right, that's pretty cool.
Very fucking similar. Very similar.
Were there demons and shit in the subway systems of Japan?
Well, I did get bum rushed by this old lady, and when I tell you bum rush, like she almost fucking like knocked me over. It was quite embarrassing, but it was. I felt shameful afterwards.
Hey, culturally, apparently they're healthier than we are, so I wouldn't let it get to you.
Dude, I would have lost a fight with her, I think. Would not have won. And I'm telling you, she was like 60, 70 years old.
That would probably crack the top 10 things I wish I hadn't missed, if I'm being honest with you. Primo just getting leveled by grandma.
Dude, everybody saw it because I'm standing there still, and then she just rammed me in my back. And thank God Christian was in front of me because he caught me.
Cradled you like a baby, huh?
Cradled me like a baby. I was like, oh my God, my hero.
Thanks. Oh, I bet he didn't let you hear the end of that shit either for a while.
Oh no, they fucking bring it up all the time. All the time.
As they should.
But yeah, guys, we are back with episode number 150. We are here to talk about some things that have happened over the last several weeks. We haven't had a chance to record. We're going to be talking about the Xbox Developers Direct that happened a few weeks ago. And also, the Nintendo Switch 2 finally got revealed. There's going to be a Direct coming in a couple of months. Really excited to hear and see that too. That's going to be on the docket for today, along with our playlist and weekly recommendations. Well, first things first, let's talk about our playlist, sir. I know it has been a very long time since you and I have talked, so I'm sure you've been watching some anime that you are ready to discuss, huh?
Yeah, I can't go all the way back to the last time we had this discussion because that would be like 10 or 12 different ones. But most recently, well, I'll knock the one movie out of the way first. I watched The Gorge yesterday because TikTok told me to.
There's a gorge.
Huh?
There's a gorge, all right.
Yes, huge. vast and dark. But do you know anything about that movie? Have you seen the previews or read up on it?
I know that it's like there's like a ravine, a gorge, and then there's like two snipers on either side, and they like fall in love or some shit. Is that the gist?
Pretty much. And not gonna lie, I kept seeing the cool clips on TikTok. It was about 2 hours long. The premise was actually awesome. The way they laid the foundation to set it up, and they got right into it. And just, it was one of those things that about 2/3 of the way through, it got really, really weird and stupid. And then the ending was so cliche. They took what could have been a great thing and just kind of ran it straight down into the gorge, I guess. It was trash.
I hate those kind of movies, man. It's like, this is a nice concept. Like, this is a good movie. And then like 2/3, like you said, way through it, you're like, yeah, this movie should have been like an hour shorter.
Well, and should just if you'd have cut it halfway through and then let me write the rest, would have been so much better. But
I've been wanting to see it.
Whatever. It's worth a watch. I mean, it got weird, but it also was like, all right, I kind of see why you did that. But the most recent animes, I would have to say my rewatch of Project 86 was probably the most enjoyable. Not to the level of the Attack on Titan rewatch, but it does have replay value for sure. There's a lot of symbolism that you miss on the first run. They finally wrapped up season 1 of 100 Years Quest. That's everything I hoped it would be, and then some. It was painful to have to watch it week to week, but I wasn't about to wait 4 months to start it, so whatever.
That's fair.
Season 2 of Four Nights of the Apocalypse just hit Netflix. That is the second season of the continuation series after the 7 Deadly Sins. Highly recommend. Highly, highly, highly recommend. If anybody hears this and you like 7 Deadly Sins, just jump right into Four Nights of the Apocalypse. Brand new character cast, brand new story arc, but you get all the callbacks from the original series, and it's written just as well. It's not like a shitty spinoff. It's pretty good.
Nice.
Dan, obviously, we talked a lot about that one.
I haven't talked to you since you watched like the first like 2 episodes.
Oh, no. I finished it like the next day. I watched it in a day and a half, yeah. That was incredible. Honestly, like
we want your banana.
Dude, just the first 4 minutes of that show, I was thinking to myself, like, what has Primo and Dylan both, what have they talked me into? Like, what am I doing right now? What? But then by about the end of episode 2, I was like, you know what? I'm there. I'm gonna see this through, and very quickly. It was incredible. It really was. Some of the best animation I've ever seen too.
Dude, it's so good. Like I said, I watched that in the airport in Japan, and I was just cackling over there, and everybody's just walking by. I'm like, guys, just keep walking, okay? This is funny. Fuck you.
Nothing to see here.
Because I didn't know anything about them looking for dicks and balls. I didn't know anything about that.
Yeah,
I just heard it was good. That was all I knew before going into it.
Well, like, if that's all you told me about it, I probably still would have watched it, because I'd have been like, that's got to be funny. Like, there's no way that's not funny. But the fact that it actually turned out to be such a deep plotted storyline and just a genuinely good anime on top of it, like, there was one, and I'm not going to spoil it for anybody that hasn't seen it yet, but you're going 100 miles an hour with humor and, like, vibrant animation, and then you get one episode that makes you question every life decision you've ever made. And then it's just right back into dick jokes and humor. Like, it was, I don't know, it was just like a writer punch to the face of anybody that was watching it.
Dude, that romance, now it's a square relationship, but that whole relationship between the two main characters, dude, so fucking good.
It was.
It
was written very well.
I'm making a prediction now. Okay, y'all can book it. I think when it's all said and done, when the series is done, might be number 2 relationship in anime ever. I can't put it number 1, but I'll gladly put it right there at number 2.
That's pretty bold, but I don't hate it.
It's dude, that shit was so fucking good. Which, by the way, if you are new to the channel and you want to hear my full thoughts on Dan season 1, just click like right here, maybe right here. There'll be a link. That will be to season 1. Season 2, sir, is coming out in a few months. so ready for it.
Oh yeah, me too. Me too. I would love to sit here and make my last one Solo Leveling, but I refuse to watch it until it's almost done with the dubs. So I have deleted every Solo Leveling site that I have followed until it's done. I refuse to know anything about it. But just know that's the one I'm the most pumped about. I
Well, you
think
haven't
there's
watched.
6 or huh?
You haven't watched season 2 yet?
Mm-mm.
I haven't either.
No, I refuse. I refuse until it's all dubbed because there are some shows that I will watch sub because I don't want to wait, but the English dubs of Solo Leveling are just peak, so I'm just not
Dude,
doing it.
so good. The
So
main
good.
character guy.
Yeah,
Some of the best voice acting. Period.
it is. Oh, it's top tier.
Which I haven't heard Christian talk too much about, but then again, I haven't really talked to him much here recently. He hasn't talked much about Solo Leveling season 2, which is kind of weird. Usually, he's like stroking that dick to it.
Yeah, yeah. I've tried to block it from everything, but ultimately, I do get the occasional like clip of a spoiler that just comes across the feed, and I'm just like, God damn, it still looks so good. I can't wait to do it. It's gonna be a wild ride.
It is, sir. I'm doing the same thing. I'm waiting for the season to finish, and then I'm gonna watch season 2.
What you been watching? That's about it for me.
Let's see, guys. I haven't watched a ton of movies lately because, well, I am reviewing Daredevil, the first 3 seasons on Netflix. The Netflix seasons, they're on Disney Plus right now. But Daredevil Born Again is coming out in like 2 weeks, I think. So I am currently on like episode 3 of season 3. So you can actually, by the time you're listening to this or watching this, you can actually go listen to my review for season 1. And then season 2 is going to come out like next week for Patreon supporters. And then season 3 will drop like right before Born Again releases on Disney Plus. Love Daredevil, but it is what I think it is. You know, from my previous experience, it was like season 1 was really great, and then season 2 kind of I don't want to say sucked, but it just wasn't nearly as good. And I was curious to know if season 2 would improve any for me, and it hasn't. Season 3, I'm gonna save my thoughts on that because I think a lot of what makes the MCU terrible nowadays is it's kind of coming to a head. Shout out in season 3. And that's the interconnected universes and shit like that. It's kind of fucking aggravating. But y'all look for the season 1, 2, and 3 reviews, and you'll get my full thoughts on all of those. Been watching Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, which is surprisingly really great.
Is it
that
really?
review, yes, dude, I fucking loved it. I laughed my ass off a couple of times during it because it's just like, that's what fucking Spider-Man is to me. It's just perfect.
Okay.
Well, I won't say perfect, but it's a good characterization of what Spider-Man is.
Interesting.
I think like the first 8 episodes are on Disney Plus right now. I've only watched the first 2. Loved the first 2, and apparently it just gets better from there.
All right, you got me. I'll check it out.
Indeed. The animation is really fucking good too. At first I didn't like it, but after watching it for about 10-15 minutes, I was like, you know what? I kind of dig it. It kind of gives me that comic book feel to it. Like, you know, you're reading a comic book is how it's kind of designed, and I dig the fuck out of that.
Was it like kind of like an arcane style animation or more like Borderlands?
Ooh, neither.
Oh,
It's
okay.
closer to Into the Spider-Verse than it is to either of those two.
Oh, all right. Yeah, I got you.
But it's not like, you know how Into the Spider-Verse has kind of like a it looks like it has like a frame rate drop look to it. It doesn't have that. This one is really smooth.
Oh, all right.
But it legitimately, when you watch it, if you remember like the golden age of comic books, like the old comic books, how they look, that's kind of what it looks like.
Okay. Yeah. Hmm. Yeah, I'll probably watch that tomorrow.
Oh, dude, it's fucking good. I gotta find time to watch the other episodes. Let's see. I'm just gonna breeze through some of these movies that I've watched. I watched Seven, did a review on that. Still fucking good. Nosferatu, ended up watching that several weeks ago. I'm actually waiting for the old Steelbook to come into the mail today. Actually, the Steelbook looks fucking sexy as fuck. Have you seen Joker Folie à Deux?
Mm-mm. I have not.
Well, guys, I'm here to tell you. This is going to be just a little rant for a second. It's a fucking terrible movie. Don't fucking watch it.
So I didn't watch it.
I have a review on it, and y'all can go fucking check that out. That's like 10 minutes of nothing but rants. Joker Folie à Deux was a fucking terrible movie. It was terrible. There's no redeeming qualities of it. It is the exact opposite of what the first movie was, which was good. The exact opposite.
That's the best description I've ever heard in my life. It's the exact opposite of good.
But it was supposed to be a musical.
Sorry, let me say that again. That is the exact opposite of the worst description I've ever heard in my life.
That's fair. It was supposed to be a musical, but it was a shitty musical. Like they didn't even commit to the musical at all. It was like they just wanted to stick the tip in and just say that they did a musical. So it's basically there's no real music behind it. It's just Joaquin Phoenix and Lady Gaga just kind of doing a cappella style. Like if I just randomly walked in the house and started singing, that's kind of what it was.
So it's a movie with 2 songs in it.
There's more than there's songs, air quotes.
All right.
But I mean, they sing quite a bit in it, but it's just kind of boring because they're just sitting there singing by themselves. Like there's no music to it. You know, that's the whole musical aspect that I thought it was going to lean towards, and it didn't.
Yeah, that sounds like trash. I'm not going to watch that. That sounds like 2 hours I'm not getting back.
You're not. I'm starting to watch Stranger Things with my daughter. She was wanting to watch it, so I think we watched the first couple episodes, and she's all about it. She's asking me questions, and she's like, "Oh, what's gonna happen with this person?" I'm like, "Shut the fuck up and just watch it." Now, granted, I didn't say shut the fuck up, but y'all, I digress. And then I'm still trying to make my way through Attack on Titan. I'm trying to catch up on the manga to where I am in the anime, if that makes any sense. So slowly making my way through that.
Where are you in the anime?
I'm almost done with season 1.
Oh,
I'm on episode. So what the fuck was the was it Anne? Was that her name? What was the female
Annie.
Titan?
Annie.
Annie.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah, Annie. I'm right there after she gets captured.
Oh, so he just did the
captured.
Right.
Air quotes.
Yeah, I got you.
So I had watched because I couldn't stop watching it. Who would have fucking thought? And I ended up watching 10 episodes and was like, oh fuck, I'm supposed to be reading the manga too. Oops.
Whoopsie daisy.
So I had to go back and catch up, and then I know I'm trying to read ahead now with the manga because if I start the anime again, I'm not gonna be able to stop again.
Yeah, it'd be like that.
Because I had to read 4 volumes in order to catch up to where I was, which I was doing volume, watching the episodes, volume, watching the episodes, and then I ended up watching 4 volumes worth of episodes, and I was like, oh fuck, rookie mistake.
I've been there. I did that with Black Clover.
But dude, that just tells you how fucking good Attack on Titan is.
Yeah, I mean, Attack on Titan's one that you'll start watching and not realize how much you have actually watched. You'll get the first bombshell about the accidental transformation in the 7th episode, and then 2 days later, you're across the sea, and you're like, "What just happened?" I don't.
Dude, I remember watching it for the first time. It's better the second time around. It really is. I don't know if I don't think the manga has anything to do with that. I think it's just rewatching it, knowing what's going to happen. It's definitely opened your eyes up to some of the more minor details.
Well, yeah, and you actually get to pick up the trail of breadcrumbs that the writer left for you that you had no idea about the first time you watched it.
Yep.
It's a different show. It's a completely different show the second time around.
So good. So good. I am very much ready to do that review series. Very much. And that's really it that I kind of just want to mention for the watching. For the playing, sir, have you been playing anything of note recently?
Not really of note. I haven't had much free time, to be honest with you, but in the background, I have been going through Nier Automata on my Switch because I promised myself 10 years ago that at some point in life I would. And I probably would have enjoyed it much more back then when it was new and fresh. But it's still good. It's a really cool game. I like the concept. It's definitely worth a playthrough on the Switch because you could probably get it for like $7.
Mm-hmm.
But it does a lot of 2D, 3D swap mid combat, which I think is pretty cool. Was probably very new at the time. I've seen it a few times now, but still pretty sweet. And really that, and a few weeks ago, Lindsay and I found like a knockoff Nintendo NES on Amazon. So we ordered it for like $30 and just hooked it up in the bedroom. So we can cycle back from like the original Super Mario to Donkey Kong to Tetris and just old school 80s and 90s stuff like that. Pretty fun.
That sounds dope.
It was dope. Yeah, we got it for like $30 too. And there's like 200 games on it.
Is that the shit that's like all over TikTok?
Well, it might be. I don't know. I didn't order it off TikTok, but probably.
Like, does the controller look like almost kind of like a PlayStation 5 controller?
No, this one looks like a Super Nintendo one.
Huh.
Or a regular Nintendo controller, not the Super Nintendo, like the actual NES. The literal block with like a D-pad and an A and a B.
2 buttons.
Yeah.
Those are the fucking days, sir. I was playing a shit ton of College Football 25 since our last episode, and I was balls deep in that. I had texted you and Tyler at one point, and I was like, "Bro, check this fucking defense out." Because when you finally hit that sweet spot in Dynasty mode where now you're just fucking getting everybody.
Yep.
And 9 of the 11 defensive players were fucking star players. I was like, this is fucking sick.
Yeah, that was a pretty terrifying picture. I'm not gonna lie.
Dude, my entire defensive line, I get at minimum 6 sacks a game.
That's pretty intense.
Dude.
Is that just sim in all your games, or do you actually play them in Dynasty mode?
Oh, I'm playing them.
You playing them? Okay.
Yeah, I don't sim any of that. I was doing it before I had like the fucking amazing defense that I had. I was kind of just playing offense. Because I think the defense in this game is not nearly as good as it was back in the day in 14. But man, it's a game changer when you have so many good players on your defense. Let me tell you.
When you can literally pick one and they're a star guy. Yeah, I'm sure that is a difference. I'm sure that is a difference maker. But it was 2 guys on that defense that weren't star guys were just so pissed. God,
like guys, I'd cut you if I if I didn't need you, I'd cut you.
I could do it with 9. I could do it with 9 people.
I probably could. But what's so funny is that defense is so fucking good. Like, I'll get negative yardage in rushing every single game. But the defense is so aggressive that if, like, my corners are really good. Obviously, they're star players. But, like, when they go into that garbage time mode, and they're just airing it the fuck out, they allow some big-ass plays. But
hey, that's the realism behind it. I mean, that's really what happens when you just go air raid because you're down 30-0 in the middle of the second quarter. I mean, secondaries get tired. I kind of like that about the game, honestly. I haven't played it nearly as much as you have, but I went through a couple seasons of a Dynasty, and yeah, you could kind of see the patterns after the first few weeks. It's pretty realistic.
Yeah, I'm above 100 hours, I think, at this point in that game.
Yeah. Damn, that's a lot.
I was like, you know what? I gotta stop this, because if I keep fucking playing it, I'll never play anything else. And I ended up playing Resident Evil 4 Remake. Patreon supporters voted for that as like my big review for, I think it was December or January. I can't remember. But y'all can check that review out as well on the channel. Loved Resident Evil 4 remake. I think that's my favorite Resident Evil game. It's right there next to Biohazard. It's like the perfect blend of action and horror, and I just had a shit ton of fun with it.
Where does 5 rank on your Resident Evil list?
I haven't played much of 5. I played it. Oh. I remember back in the day, I bought it from what was that GameStop store, but not GameStop in Hattiesburg. It was in front of Kohl's. What the fuck was that name of that place?
It's got like an orange logo.
It was like Game On or some shit like that.
It used to be a Game Exchange, but then it got bought out by something else.
Yes, Game Exchange. Damn, dude, that's way back in the fucking day. That was GameStop before GameStop.
Yeah, you're right.
Well, I bought it from that store, and I ended up playing, I think, like 2 hours of it, and I was just like, yeah, fuck this. And I just turned it off.
All right, I was just curious. That's one of my favorite ones, but I'm in like the 5% that thinks that, so...
If they remake it, which they've been remaking all the mainline games here recently, if they remake 5, I will play it.
I doubt they do. Like I said, it didn't get the clout when it was new, to be honest with you. It got a lot of hate, but I just liked it because it was like any other Resident Evil game. It had replay value, but one of the 2 characters, if you beat the game, you could use credits or whatever to unlock their super weapons, and hers was a bow. And every time I think about Resident Evil, I just think about the hours that I spent as a teenager just running through that entire game with nothing but a bow and an arrow. Like shit was pretty fun.
This dude's coming in here with a fucking bow and arrow. What the fuck?
Yeah, and it was like during the time that they were trying to make co-op like the thing to do with every game they released. So you and your partner had to like communicate back and forth, and sometimes you both had to be there to do something. Sometimes you had to split up, but I don't know, just nostalgia for me. But again, I'm in the 5%, so I ask everybody when Resident Evil comes up.
I really don't have, like, I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, that was a trash game. It was just like, I'm telling you, I played 2 hours of it. I don't know if it wasn't my thing or what the case was. Because I think I was going through paramedic school around that time that I played it. So, I mean, it just, maybe life got in the way. So I would definitely retry it and give it a shot and see if it's any good.
Well, it came out after 4, which is why everybody was like, this game is shit, because 4 was just obviously historically so good. But then 6 obviously came out a few years later, and 6 was probably one of the worst games I've ever attempted to play in the history of my gaming life. So
maybe it's 6 I'm thinking about.
6 was like it wasn't futuristic, but it was kind of like the more...
Which was the one that you started off in the desert? Was that 5 or 6? Do you remember?
You started off in the desert.
Yeah, it was like a deserty compound or some shit like that.
Oh, like a wasteland? Yeah, that was 5.
Was that 5? Okay.
Yeah,
that's one I'm
6 was like, 6 was in the city. Yeah. 6 was in the city, and you use like UMP 45s and MP40s and stuff like that, like actual military tech in 6, but it was just terrible. Like, the game sucked.
Yeah, I don't think I played 6 then. I mentioned Persona 5 Royal, which we were trying to do a deep dive, and legitimately, I don't think I've played it in almost a year. That's how long it's been. I still have the episode downloaded for recording, and started jumping back into it, and I was like, this feels a little bit different now that I've been to Japan. So I'm gonna start slowly making my way through it. Again, I'm trying to go through Attack on Titan, Harry Potter, for those series. And then also jumping into some Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, trying to finish that shit. Played like 2 hours the other day, and I was like, bro, this feels so good in my hands. Let me tell you. Shout out.
I already missed that game so much.
I was going through it. I'm like, oh man, because I'm right past the beach area. It's like once you do the beach shit, then you go off into the rest of the region. And I don't want to say the beach part has probably been my least favorite, but it's also been like the best in terms of like putting characters one-on-one with each other in terms of Cloud with Tifa and Aerith. So I did kind of enjoy that. It was just like it kind of dragged a little bit for me. But now that I'm past that, it's like, yo, let's fucking go. Let me tell you, I was I never changed them out of their bikinis when I went further. And do you remember the gym where you had to do the ab crunches mini game? So it was just like Tifa in her fucking bikini the entire time. And I'm like, oh no, I keep losing. I don't know what's going on.
I guess I'll have to try it again.
But to be fair, fuck that mini game, dude. I was getting intense with it.
No, honestly, obviously, we could talk for 3 hours about all the mini games, but all the mini games in the gym are absolute. They're not even fun to me anymore. Like when I finally got to the point that I beat them and got whatever reward you get for it, I was like, never doing that again. Never again. Not the one time.
Not but one time. Well, I was like, fuck that mini game, dude. I'm not gonna do that shit. I just want to go, slay monsters and shit like that, right? And then like it won't close out the quest until you fucking beat her. I'm like, you fucking bastards.
Yep.
That's how you reel me back in, man. I can't leave that quest undone. Because I do hope that that's my plan is to 100% all the quest.
Yeah, no. Me too. I feel you. There's a lot. I think I left it off at like 98%, and I've gone back to it because all I have left are like I think it's actually one quest that I have open, but there's like 5 mini games that you have to max score. And every time I just go back to it to even remotely try it, I'm like, damn it, I'm never going to finish this. Like, this would take me a week. This would take me a week.
And I don't have it in me. I don't have it in me.
I don't.
But
the game was everything I hoped it would be, though. So you have a lot of life to live.
I think you told me it was numero uno on your list now, huh?
Probably. Yeah. I've put in more thought into that than I'm proud to admit, to be completely honest with you. But I think so. I think it might be the number one.
Which, speaking of number 2, the old Final Fantasy X, dude, the other day, I got this like instant erection all of a sudden, and I was like, Final Fantasy X? I was like, bro, I have it. It would just be so easy for me to play it on my PlayStation. It would just be so easy, And yes. I got that hankering to do it again. I was like, no, down, boy, down. You got to play other games.
Yeah, no, that'll periodically happen about once a year for the rest of your life. Trust me.
Because I've been thinking, because we have our deep dive series there, and it's just it never got the due that it was due, And I was like, I could just do a Let's Play series and just fucking throw that shit on top of there or something like that. I don't know. But yeah, I wanted to do a Let's Play series on it, and it was just like, you know what, dude? Maybe later in the year where you don't have any other fucking shit going on, then you can worry about that.
Well, whenever it comes time for that Patreon vote, you know where my vote's going to go if that's on the docket. So,
I do.
You just keep that in your back pocket for whenever you feel like it, buddy.
In my back pocket. But then I've also been playing some Diablo 4. It's called the Diablo 4 Gangbang. The little crew that we got going on, and that's been a lot of fun. So I think we've played a few nights over here like the last few weeks, a couple hours each night, something like that. We'll all get together and gangbang with each other. So again, that's been some fun, but that does take away from some of my my other priorities, I guess you could say.
Touché.
But that's enough of that shit, guys. I told Chris that we would just kind of breeze through this, and like always, it doesn't happen. So
it's also been like 2 months, so
it has been, sir. I've been excited to talk to you. I have 3 games to talk about with the Xbox Developers Direct. I thought it was like a regular showcase. It is not. It was Developers Direct. How many games do you have wrote down for that? I think there's only like 5 games that got revealed, right?
Well, yeah, I only saw 4 and then a bonus to one of them. So if you tell me which one you're leaving out, then we can just talk about the other ones.
I got Doom: The Dark Ages, Ninja Gaiden 4, and Clair Obscur Expedition 33.
So you just want to skip over South of Midnight? All right, that's fine. I really only wanted to say like one thing about South of Midnight anyway.
Well, go ahead and say it. I don't honestly don't even remember that game.
Oh, well, so yeah, to make my statement valid, it's essentially like a magical reimagining of the lore and mythical lore behind stories you hear growing up about the Deep South. And the animation actually looked incredible. I thought it seemed pretty interesting, and the plot seemed pretty far-fetched, which for me, that's whatever. I'm into some pretty weird shit sometimes. It might actually be enjoyable. I don't know. But
Shout out.
the only thing I'm excited about truly for that game is to hear what the rest of the world thinks about the Deep South.
I'm oddly curious.
Because, yeah, I grew up in the Deep South. It's not a magical place. All right?
It's a bunch of banjos and fucking rednecks.
Which I'm curious to see if that's essentially what the game portrays it as, to be honest with you. But outside of that, no interest in that. It was kind of just like, yeah.
I hear you. So let's talk about Ninja Gaiden 4 first, and then we'll jump into Doom: The Dark Ages and Clair Obscur, because I remember, was it last year that got revealed, or maybe the year before? You and I talked about Clair Obscur, and we were both like, fuck yeah, that game right there is definitely something we want to play. So let's talk about Ninja Gaiden 4 for just a second. I'm just going to briefly go over it because this is most likely a game that I'm not going to play. Because, guys, I'm going to be honest. Nioh 2 broke me. It broke me spiritually to fucking beat that game. It took everything from me to fucking finish that game. And I can't do another Team Ninja game. I can't. Call me a fucking pussy. Call me a little bitch. Go ahead. Okay? Go ahead. I can play every From Software game and beat those games with the exclusion of Sekiro. But something about Team Ninja, like, it just takes my very soul from me and then just breaks it.
It's pretty intense.
It is, sir. Nioh 2, man. That... Like, I think I have PTSD from it. Not gonna lie. Not gonna lie, dude. That thing, when I say it broke me, it fucking broke me. I remember that one boss fight, and you never played it, so you wouldn't know what boss fight I'm talking about. It's like one big room, and it's like a dojo room kind of thing, and he's like a bull or something like that, from what I remember. And when I tell you, I died to him at least 200 times. I spent hours trying to beat that dude. And like I said, game just broke me. So I for the most part, avoid Team Ninja games because they just take everything away from me. I don't have anything left to give.
That sounds truly soul-crushing.
It is, sir. It is. I'm not the same person after playing that game, and not in a good way.
Well, it was a no for me, but go ahead. I'm sorry.
Wait, what were you going to say?
Oh, no, you finish up.
Oh, no, I was just going to jump into Ninja Gaiden 4, but if you had something to say.
No. Me too. I was going to point out that it's a no for me too, but for a very different reason. So,
fair enough. So Team Ninja, they've done Nioh 1 and 2. They also did Wolong Fallen Dynasty, which I think we talked about last year. I believe it was last year. Played like an hour of that game and decided that I was probably not going to play another Team Ninja game again because I was still broken. But it's from Team Ninja and Platinum Games, coming out fall of 2025. This is the first Ninja Gaiden game in over a decade. A significant amount of time has passed between Ninja Gaiden 3 and then this one. You will find yourself arriving in a gruesomely transformed Tokyo. And then one of the key themes of this story is the return of the Dark Dragon, which sounds pretty fucking dope, not gonna lie.
That sounds cool. Yeah.
He has plunged the city into chaos, and then basically within these unsettling conditions, I'm going to say these names wrong, Yakumo will have to face off against his foes, as well as the formidable master ninja himself. And then you get to use like a blood raven form, which is described like as a technique that manipulates the blood of oneself and enemies, which sounds pretty cool. And you transform it into a massive weapon capable of slicing through multiple foes at once. Again, that sounds pretty fucking dope. But again, this is just a game. It's going to be hard as shit. Looks dope. The animations look amazing. But, I've gotten to the point, especially on the podcast, where I have so much shit that I'm trying to do that I just know when a game's not for me. And when I look at this, I know for a fact this game is not for me.
Yeah, I kind of thought the same thing. Like, I thought it seemed like it would be difficult to the point of, like, every fight sequence being, like, solving a puzzle almost, which 15 years ago probably would have ate that shit out of the palm of Team Ninja's hand, to be honest with you, but I just don't have the time or level of commitment to sit down and try to do something like that anymore. You're right, it looked cool. The animation looks sweet, and you could tell that it's been 10 years since they released one, because when they kept showing side-by-sides from Black Shadow, I think, was the second one where they're doing like a little reboost on it or whatever, a remake. But it looked just exponentially better graphic-wise and aesthetically, but kind of with you, just not for me.
Yeah.
It's probably not going to make me buy an Xbox.
No. It's just like I don't have time to sink 70 hours into a game that's probably like 10 hours long. With just repeatedly dying to bosses. I don't have time for that. I'll just save those for the, like I said, the From Software games that I know are really fucking great and that I love those and I love the lores and shit like that. I'll save my headaches for that.
Heard that.
Let's talk about Doom: The Dark Ages, sir. My God. Just when I think I'm out on Doom, they pull me fucking back in. Okay. I want to say we started talking about. I want to say Doom Eternal came out not long after the podcast started, because I remember I didn't finish the game. I do plan on finishing it, or I guess checking it back out before Dark Ages comes out. It was kind of like a platformy game, which that's kind of how they described the first two games. It was like 2016, which was fucking dope, by the way. That was like fight or flight, run and gun kind of like style of gameplay. And then you have Eternal, which is jump and gun, a lot of platforming. And then this one they described as ground and gun. They're using strength over acrobatics. Strafing will be the key. You're still fast, but you move a lot slower than the other two games, which is very interesting.
Yeah.
Because have you played 2016 Doom?
And it's been a minute, but yeah, play a little bit of it.
That was one of those games
that way through.
You didn't play it all the way through?
No, I didn't play the whole way through.
Dude, I played that game in Alaska when I was working for 2 weeks, and I beat that game in a few days. It was so fucking good. So good. Again, that's one of those games that if you sit still for just half of a second, you're dead. Gotta always be moving. But this game looks fucking incredible, sir. Incredible. This is a prequel to the 2016 game. It's coming out May 15th. So we're just a few months away from that. What did you think about the reveal for the Dark Ages?
Man, I thought it looked absolutely dope, to be honest with you. And I've never been I'm not going to say I dislike Doom by any means, but I've never been super excited when I heard about it, It's just kind of always been one of those, oh yeah, there's another Doom game kind of things. But this one, especially after I saw like the breakdown of the gameplay from the developer direct, that's what they called it?
Yeah.
Yeah. But the 10 or 11 minutes that they actually explained everything you can do, and it's definitely just not. The franchise has come so far from the arcade style jump around the corner with a 6-shooter and blow a demon's 2-pixel head off. Like it looks like a legitimate. It doesn't even look just like a first-person shooter. Like I love how they've evolved the combat and given you so many more melee options. It seems like they put a lot of work into environmental factors as well. There was one clip where the dude like turned his shield on and then threw it at a wall, and then used the gravitational pull while the shield was stuck to make himself launch toward it and came down on somebody else. Like it just seems like if I spent $70 on it the day it came out, I don't know that I would leave the game thinking it was worth $70. But I'm a cheap ass. But I think I would definitely enjoy the shit out of it. Like, it just looks like a lot of hell-tastic, gory fun, but in ways that we haven't seen before.
Mm-hmm. So I'm
Plus,
gonna be completely
you can
honest.
drive a mech and ride a dragon. So
Which,
if it didn't,
dude, when I saw that, I was like, bro, we could be in fucking it's mech fights, bro.
yes,
Sign me the
yes.
fuck up.
I wasn't on the fence. I thought it looked cool already, but when I saw the mech and then the dragon, I was like, all right, I'm in.
Yeah, you get to fight Titan-sized demons in like mech-looking fights, and then fly on top of a dragon during combat. And they said that this is not just like a one little portion of the game. No, you can do that multiple times throughout the game. I'm like,
there are boss-specific fights for each vehicle.
Like, shit. I'm like, I didn't even know that was a thing, but I'm fucking all about it.
Mm-hmm. Versatility with melee weapons. You don't have to use the flail the whole time. Thought that was pretty cool. Even though the animations I saw, the flail looks the best. But
so yeah, you have the iron flail, you have an electrified gauntlet, and then a doom spiked mace. And then, like you said, you have 3 different melee options from one input. I'm curious to know, because they did mention that a few times in this little direct. Like, you have a shield saw, which looks fucking cool. You can block with it, throw it, parry, deflect, and it's all from a single button to do all of those options. And then the same thing with the melee. You could do those 3 different melee options with just one input. So it seemed, I'm curious. That's like, I don't know how that's going to work out. I may be thinking about it too much, but it just seems like that could be a little janky. I don't know. Maybe.
I would imagine the shield's going to have to be from the D-pad.
I don't know. I'm thinking you just push it and the game is just automatically gonna assume like,
what you want to do with it
within that scenario, maybe.
I don't know. That seems like a lot, but
Or
I guess
maybe it's kind of like college football 25 or some shit like that. Like, you hold it down and you fucking parry, you tap it and you throw it or some shit like that.
I mean, I guess if you use like a trigger to do it, you hold it down to block, and you hold it down and release it at the exact moment you need to lock a parry in. If you tap it, you melee, but how would you throw it? I guess is my thing. Like, because there's only so many things you can do with one button, but I mean, obviously they figured it out. It's not me discrediting what they're saying or anything. I'm just curious to see.
Mm-hmm. The other thing that I wanted to mention. Oh yeah. I not the biggest supporter of Doom Eternal. Okay, not the biggest supporter of it. Did you see the collector's edition for Dark Ages?
No, I didn't see that.
Sir, look that shit up. When I saw that, I was like, and pre-ordered. That shit looks fucking dope. You get a Doom guy with the fucking the little furry fucking cape on the back, and I was like, yes, put that up there. I'm all
that
about
sounds
it.
Pretty sweet.
Dude, you get a steelbook, which we all know I'm horny for steelbooks. All kinds of shit comes with it. And I was like,
you pre-ordered it already?
Oh yeah.
Do you have an Xbox?
Tomato.
PC.
You know what? No, it's not. It's gonna be on PlayStation 2.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't even realize that. Well, we were doing the Xbox developer thing, so I assumed these were Xbox specific.
No, it's coming to PlayStation. Dude, I'm not gonna lie. You gave me a mini heart attack for a second. I was like, wait, is this game only new gen? Because if so, I'm fucked.
Wait, is the last game we're gonna talk about PlayStation as well?
Let me see. Clair Obscur.
Because I'm about
Um.
to get a legitimate hard on.
Oh,
I've been
PlayStation 5,
operating.
sir. Down, boy, down.
Yeah. No. Arise.
Come
Mm.
off 1 inch. Arise, my little guy. It's your time.
Shave yourself.
But yeah,
Dude, I'm telling you, I just assumed that these were console specific because we were doing the Xbox developer thing. So I was like, maybe this is just they're just showing 4 because they're all going to be for Xbox. You have no idea how stoked I am for Expedition 33 now. Like, I'm probably not even going to buy Assassin's Creed Shadows anymore.
yeah, I've heard a lot of bad things about that game.
I was on the fence already just from the initial uh-ohs, but
Yeah,
of
I'm
course I
curious.
also don't know when Expedition 33 is coming out. Probably the end of the year if I had to guess.
Sir, do I have news for you?
Tell me it's like a week.
Oh, not a week. April 24th.
Oh yeah, I'm not even buying a game until then. No. I'll keep playing my Super Mario thing twice.
Yeah. Bro, seriously gave me a heart attack. I was like, fuck, is it next gen only? Did I fucking pre-order something for something that I didn't even have?
You probably gave me a heart attack from the erection I'm riding with right now. Like, you don't even know, man. Like, I'm telling you, when I was watching this, I was so sad because I was like, absolutely not. I can't even ask if I can buy an Xbox. Again, no idea it was on the PlayStation.
Yep, PlayStation 5. So, segueing into the Clair Obscur Expedition 33, bro, this game, I'm telling you, we mentioned this whenever it got revealed. I don't remember what specific episode it was. But it was like an Xbox showcase or something like that. And you and I talked about that game, and we were like, that game looks fucking awesome.
And it still does. We were not wrong.
It still looks fucking awesome. Even better.
I realized there were only 4 games on this thing, but the other ones meant nothing to me. Like, literally nothing. Doom looked cool, but nothing like this.
Have you watched the direct for Sony State of Play that just happened?
Nope.
So we did a reaction. Like, you can watch the direct as we're talking about it. Y'all can find that on our YouTube channel. Let me tell you, there's some games in there that has Chris Norman written all the fuck over it. Let me tell you.
Oh, cool. All right, yeah. I'll
There's
watch
a
that.
game in there. It's called Tides of Annihilation. Go ahead and fucking Google that shit when you're done with this, okay? Because that is... As soon as I saw it, I was like, oh, me and Chris are going to fuck with that so hard. So hard. Like, at the same time. All right. But anyways, Clair Obscur Expedition 33. This game... Wait, do what?
I said I'll check it out.
Yeah.
I have to wait for my Expedition 33 boner to go away, but maybe a couple of hours.
After a couple of hours. Sorry, you might have to go to the hospital for that.
Nope.
No, I'm going to ride with the shame.
Yeah, I'm just going to walk around with it.
It's powder in the pants, I swear.
It's the pleats.
Nothing to see here. So one of the cool things about this game. So basically, just the premise of the game is every year a paintress awakens and then paints a number on her monolith. Anyone that is past that age is erased. So, yeah, cool fucking concept, right? And the number just ticks down younger and younger every single year. That, to me, is so fucking cool. Just the concept behind the story. And it kind of leads me into one of the things that I'm most excited about this game. And that is the characters. This has the opportunity to be a game that has some of the best characters ever.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm thinking, Xenoblade Chronicles 3, where, it's kind of similar in that case with the characters, dying and shit like that. And just some great character development. I feel like it's just like it's not going to be the typical cliche good versus evil. You know, characters are going to be complicated. They're going to be flawed. They're going to have different perspectives of what needs to be done in order to take out this paintress. And to me, when you have that, when the overlooming thought that you're going to die next because you're a certain age, it just creates this tension, and then it just makes them. It gives you some great character moments, I feel like. So the potential is there for this to be some of the best, not only the best story, but some of the best characters that we've seen in recent memory. So what are your thoughts on the game, sir?
What you just said, it gives it the potential for how they set up, and that normally terrifies me. If that's where you leave it, and I'm saying something has the potential, normally I'm like, God, they're gonna mess this up. This could be so good, just like the Gorge I was talking about. Started off for an hour, could have been incredible, went to shite. But watching the direct and hearing the conviction behind the guy who had the original idea and the team members he brought on and how they explained what they wanted to do. They wanted to take an existential crisis, throw several moral dilemmas into the middle of it, throw good and bad out the window, and just leave it more as a what would you do in this scenario. It's got my full faith and confidence. Like I'm if it lets me down at this point, that's gonna be a real bummer, to be honest with you, because just hearing everything mentally and emotionally that went into it and how they decided to write the characters on top of just the most originally badass plot that I've heard of in quite a while. I mean, it's just, I don't know. Existential Crisis makes anything better as far as the decisions you make and the fact that morals aren't necessarily out the window, but holding back from anything you're doing, that's gone. You have no reason to do that anymore. You know, when you don't have a tomorrow, what are you going to do today? And oh, dude, I'm telling you, cannot.
It gives me like Attack on Titan vibes with where they can go with that story.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because Attack on Titan it centers around, like, I never expected for them to dive so much into like how war affects not only like people that kill other people, but like just
generations afterward.
Exactly. And the effects it has. And, you know, when you, and these characters, they deal with something that, you know, let's say the number 35 happened, you know, and they lost like a brother or something like that. Like that would affect them for 33 when it's their turn to die. And that to me is just, it should create some fucking spectacular moments in this game.
Well, and you're also, you're losing 2 years worth of people every single year. And I'm hoping the game actually mathematically addresses that, because
that's true.
If you're 32 in 364 days, the year that the number is 33, you survive. But then you're almost 34 by the time 32 rolls around. You know? So, like, I don't know. I hope they address, like, how many people actually went in the 35 gap versus how many people fell into the 34 gap. Why does the number actually tick down instead of just have a cutoff every single year, so you're only using 1 year worth of people? And at what point in the tick down does population just cease to exist because everybody that's left is too young to fend for themselves? Is that what we're trying to prevent, or are we just trying to save our own asses in the next year? You know what I mean? I need to hear all of those dilemmas amongst all these characters, because you're going to have the selfish people who are literally just trying to survive. And then you're going to have the people who are actually looking at the bigger picture saying, what are our children going to do when the number goes down to 9 and then the 8-year-olds go and nobody can, or, you know, like they could do so much. They can do just so much.
And like, are there multiple expeditions? Like, do they have an expedition every single year to try to take out the paintress, or what? So not only are you losing those group of people, because I'm assuming they've tried it in the past where they tried to kill her and that group has died. So you're losing that core group right there. And how do they decide who goes on the expedition, who doesn't, you know? So again, like you just said, man, I think there's so many questions that you have, and you're like, man, I want them to explore all of it.
Yep.
Give
Yep.
it to me all.
I want the whole story answered.
So are you thinking like 70-hour game minimum?
I think so. Yeah. Well, I'm not gonna say minimum because when I think about it, like when you were playing through it, Final Fantasy 16 was such a cinematic thriller, but it felt like you played that beast for like 120 hours to me. And then I beat it and I was like, that was 55 hours. And I'm like, that was a long 55 hours, but if you're telling me it was 55 hours, I'm assuming you're not lying to me. So I would say 50 minimum, I would think, but I could see it rushing into the 70 or 80 depending on how deep they go with it.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like you're going to have a lot of time spent evolving combat and the stuff you can do to not necessarily level up your characters, but you know how you can customize your builds and whatnot. So,
Ooh, that's gonna look so good, sir, because there's like extensive skill trees and unique character like mechanics that you have to deal with. So there's over 20 unit skills and 100 passive abilities that you can deal with. That sounds kind of crazy to the part where I'm like, that might be a little overzealous there with how many abilities you're giving us. But the customization that you can have with all that, just like your erection that you have, man, it gives me full on diamond status here because I'm like, I want to customize these characters the way that fits my play style. You know, I don't want you to have this, oh, you're going to have the healer in your group and you got to have this and you got to have that. And that's your 5 people and that's fucking it. No, like I want to be able to mix and match. And, you know, if I want to go with a all out offensive group, I want to go all out, you know, that kind of thing. And I hope you have that customization option there. Because the way it's described to you in that little direct is you have all the opportunities to choose how you want to play this game.
Yeah, and if I knew nothing else about it, but you showed me 15 seconds of it so I could see what it looked like, and then you used the words turn-based, wait, turn-based combat in real-time action.
Yeah.
I'm going to buy that. I have to know what that means. Like, I don't think I've seen that attempted to be done since Final Fantasy X2, and it was real bad. So, to fast forward 20 years from a studio that's never put anything out, that have literally committed anything they've ever done professionally to this game, oh god, I don't know that it can fail.
So do you think that means it's going to be like the typical turn-based where you choose attack, defend, whatever the fuck, and then when you choose an attack, you have to push button prompts in order to...
Probably that's
what
how
I
I would
assume.
imagine that's how it starts off, and I would imagine that this is complete speculation because they didn't show this, but I would imagine that it probably evolves into combos rather than just single time-based pushes after you solidify your attack or whatever. You know, to strengthen as you unlock ability to stack combos and stuff. I would imagine. I have no idea. Now that I know that it's coming out on PlayStation, I know I'm going to find out. And that's the best news I've gotten today. So thanks for that.
I do find it, so with the combat, as Chris mentioned, it's a turn-based RPG. It's like a fantasy version of like late 19th century France, which look pretty cool. I mean, the graphics look great. You have different stances that affect your defense. The thing that kind of peaked, like kind of made me sit up and like, wait, what? During the direct, they mentioned that the playtesting that they had for the game found the combat too difficult. And according to them, they fixed it and they're proud of it now. And I'm just like, ooh, what does that mean? You know, it was too difficult.
I don't know.
Like, is that a bad thing or a good thing? Like, I don't know. It's something that I'm just going to plug away for later. You know, like when we have the game and we've played it and we go back and look at the combat and we look back at that statement, you know, we can tell whether or not that was a good thing, like a good change or a bad change, you know?
When I first heard turn-based, but then I heard real-time action, it kind of made me think to myself, like, well, if this has one downfall, it's going to be the timing. behind everything you have to do. So I'm hoping it's something as simple as like different choices you made during your turns, like your like your choice phase or whatever when you're deciding what you're about to do. The probably like I have a fucking clue. Possibly when you make your selection, there's no reaction time before the live action stuff kicks in, so people just couldn't follow it. Maybe I don't know. I'm hoping it's something as simple as that, and it's not just ultimately the turn-based version of Neo or whatever, where it just seems like bosses are unbeatable. Because you do, unfortunately, that is something that you see from new developers a lot, is not knowing how to pace out the difficulty. But if they say they fixed it, I have no choice but to believe them.
This guy's got full faith. Full fucking faith, sir. I respect it. I respect it.
I hope it doesn't break my heart. It looks way too good. It looks way too fucking good.
April 24th, 2025 is when Clair Obscur Expedition 33 is releasing on PlayStation 5 and Xbox. So y'all be on the lookout for that. Definitely fucking playing that. And I'm going to go on Amazon here in just a minute and see if there's a Steelbook little pre-order that they got going on. And I might pre-order that. Just saying.
Yes. I might actually do that too. And you know I don't do that.
You don't. All right, let's talk about one last thing before we wrap up this episode. And there's not a ton of details that we can talk about here, so hopefully we won't have to spend too much time on this because I know Chris has to go and I have to go as well. The Nintendo Switch 2 finally got revealed. There's a Switch 2 Direct coming out. I thought it was February 4th, but that is not the case. It's I think it's April the 2nd. April the 2nd. Fucking weird ass date that they put in there, man.
Numbers and sequences. You've got time for that.
So what did you think about the Switch 2, man? I have not talked to you about this whatsoever. I remember watching the actual reveal and I was like, hey, for an upgrade, I feel like it's going to be worth it to buy. But what are your thoughts?
Not for me at first. I mean, not until there unless either my Switch dies and I have to get something new, or they finally just drop a game that I'm like, yeah, I'm playing that day one, and that'll make me buy a new one. Like, you give me Xenoblade 4, sure, I'm there. You give me whatever a third installment to Tears of the Kingdom would be, if they ever even do that, which they probably won't at this point. But if I got something like that, yeah, I'll buy it day one. But just to transition everything I already do from console to console, meh. I mean, because you know it's going to cost $500.
I don't know. I don't know that it will. Like I don't like Nintendo. I bet it's every
bit of $450.
So the thing with Nintendo is they never go down in their prices, but it's always much more manageable than, I say manageable, it's not manageable, but it's usually cheaper than it is for the main consoles. So like the Switch, the the docking version, the OG version was $300, and then they made the Switch Lite $200, which is still cheaper than the other ones. I don't know. I feel like it's weird to figure out what they will do, because I think it would be, like you said, it could be $400, and I wouldn't be surprised by it. But at the same time, they have a Switch at $300. But also at the same time, a little caveat here is the Switch is still $300.
Right. Well, and Nintendo, for all intents and purposes, they're built to last. I mean, I have probably put well over 1,000 to 1,200 total hours on my Switch with the brightness not all the way up, but it's been dragged through the mud as far as being played on as a handheld console, and there's nothing wrong with it. So like I get it. You're gonna spend that one time, and it'll probably last you until the new console is made or comes out or whatever. But I don't know, just as far as the immediate upgrades, which I guess we should talk about. because everybody else, other than my jaded opinion, needs to know what they're actually getting. But
So, here's some of the little details that we've gotten from the little reveal itself. So, it has a way bigger screen. It looks more sleek. It's not. It doesn't look as boxy to me. It has a bigger, more flexible kickstand, which I actually really like. I think that in theory, I mean, I don't know how it will be in practicality and in real life, but the way it was presented in that little video, I think the kickstand was the one thing that was like, oh, fuck yes, man. Because what sucked about the kickstand for this Switch is you had one option. It was either, and it was like you had to play it like this, kind of. Like you had to fucking lean down because you couldn't really play it.
yeah,
But also at the same time, how often will I use that kickstand?
that's what I was gonna ask. Like, when they said new and upgraded kickstand, you might make fun of me for this, but my first thought was, my Switch has a kickstand. Like, have I ever one time utilized that? And it may be because I tried it one time and it was shit, and I just kind of forgot that it was on there after that. I don't know, but
when I played Doom 2016 on the Switch. I didn't play that on console.
mm-hmm.
And the way I had it at my little office in Alaska was I propped it up. I don't think I used the kickstand, but I brought a separate controller, and that's how I played it. And that's legitimately one of the only games that I can remember that I took the Joy-Cons off and then played it
Right.
in a controller form. All the other games I play in handheld mode. So will I actually use it? I don't know. But in theory, it seems like a good idea.
Yeah, no, you're right. In theory, it's definitely better than it was, so you have to call it an upgrade.
The controllers just pop on rather than slide in. Now, the one issue that I have with that is it has like almost kind of like an HDMI plug-in looking thing. That I don't know if you saw that or not.
Mm-hmm.
So how brittle will that thing be? Is my question.
If I drop it and they're plugged in, is it going to break? Is it going to break the Joy-Con? Is it going to break the console? Or is it going to snap the connection between both?
Exactly. So that's not what everybody was like the rumors coming out like months before. They were all like, it's going to be a magnetic ones. And I was like, so really the rumors were kind of spot on almost in a way. But I think if they were just magnetic to it, I don't know how that would have worked in terms of like how like operation wise. But the like you said, the little piece there, if I drop it and it breaks, do I have to get a new console? Like, what are the ramifications if that thing fucking gets broken? And then also, the Joy-Cons suck for the Switch, just period. Are these better?
I do think so. Just based off of what I saw that when they were doing like the side by side, because it looks like the analog stick bases are reinforced. It looks like they were widened out a little bit, but they've got a rubber seal around the bottom out of all of them, so they only go down so far, and you never have to worry about when you're playing something super jerky and you just yank it too far, and then you realize you got Joy-Con drift because you probably just ripped it too far and snapped the inside or whatever. I do think they're probably reinforced a little better. I mean, that would have to be something that they had to address because that's the biggest issue they have with anything.
That was.
So it is Nintendo. So I could see them not fixing it at all because we just kept buying Joy-Cons. But
right. Sorry, I mean, brilliant strategy on their part.
Right? No. That's just stupid on our part. It's what it is. It's not brilliant on their part. We're just idiots. But I've done it myself. I've gone through 3 sets.
Yep. Same. I fucking hate it every single time. I'm like,
every time.
God damn, bro, this fucking sucks. I have like a graveyard of fucking Joy-Cons in my drawer. I'm like, maybe one day it'll work. But then again, like I can't throw away an $80 controller, you know? That to me just feels insane. Like I will keep you for the rest of my fucking life.
Yeah. No. Even if it's got Joy-Con drift, it's still better than a controller that doesn't turn on. You know what I mean? Like, true. So I did the same thing.
Now it does say most games will be backwards compatible, which is great. I don't think with the way the Switch has come out with all the fucking games, the eStore, all that bullshit, the fact that they're going to be backwards compatible is the only way to go for me personally. Especially with all the games that I have, I think it would have been such a bad choice for it not to be backwards compatible. Now, I'm assuming the ones that aren't compatible are the ones that you had to have, I don't know, like
Probably
those
the
like
motion sensor ones.
yeah, like the specific ones that you couldn't even play on the Switch Lite because of it.
Mm-hmm. Like well, there was one of them that was like a workout game.
Yeah, what was that? Ring or 1-2 Ring
Yeah,
or some
Ring Fit.
Ring Fit. Yeah, some shit like that. So I think overall, I still need some more details on it. What the thing that's gonna turn me on or off of whether or not I'm gonna buy this later this year? What are the games? Because we've kind of been predicting it for like the last several months. Nintendo is not releasing any big games.
Yeah, I was gonna bring that up when you were talking about backwards compatibility. Nintendo kind of told on themselves with that one. Like they would never acknowledge whether or not anything about the new console really, but they would definitely never address the backwards compatibility. But when you let it leak that a new console is on the horizon and then you don't release any new titles for 14 months, that bitch better be backwards compatible. Like, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah,
but
like what games are we gonna get with this? Is there?
right.
I'm assuming it's gonna be a new Mario game with launch. There's got to be. There hasn't been a 3D Mario Odyssey follow up, so that's got to be on the horizon with this
There's
one.
gonna be a cart. There's always a cart.
Which they showed a new Mario Kart game in that direct.
Oh, you're right. They did. Yeah, they did. They did. They showed like with the first lap of one of the courses, I think.
Yeah, but like, how do you make that game better than 8? You know, when you give us everything in one game, how do you make the next one? It's the same thing with Super Smash Bros. Like when you make this the ultimate
Nintendo
version.
historically just every single time a new title releases that there's already 14 of, they just add one element. Like, so for this one, it seems like there's going to be a battle royale mode where you can have like 64 racers in one thing.
Of course.
Which, all right, that's kind of cool. It'd be fun for like an hour, I think. You know, but outside of the three main Mario titles, you're right. I need to know what I'm getting if I pre-order this thing and I invest in it early on.
I'm gonna make a prediction.
It better be something Zelda or it better be something Zeno.
I'm gonna make a prediction. I might be wrong, but I'm swinging for the fences here. Okay, I'm saying book it. There's gonna be 3 exclusives for the Switch when it comes out. Okay, Mario Odyssey 2 or whatever the fuck it's gonna be. Okay, it's gonna be the new 3D Mario game.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna have Mario Kart 9 on launch day. The third game, Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time remake. Full on remake. Full on remake. Yeah. Not a remake, port.
Yeah. No, I'd buy that. And that's why I think you're right. Because I think that's the one thing that they know it's going to sell out before it hits the shelves. That's brilliant. That's a brilliant guess.
I mean, how do you have? It's not going to be a new Breath of the Wild 3 or whatever the fuck you want. It's not going to be a new mainline Zelda game. I don't think. I think it's been too soon.
Yeah, it's too fresh. Still too fresh.
And it's coming out this year. So yeah, I mean, they would have been having to work on it 4 or 5 years ago at minimum. So I think a remake of an older game is the only way that they can release a Legend of Zelda game. And they do Ocarina of Time, I'm telling you, it's going to sell like hotcakes.
Yeah. No, they do that. I'm buying it. I already said, like, that's...
So go ahead and book it, guys. Those are the 3 exclusives that I think will release day numero uno with the Switch 2. But I guess we'll find out more in April whenever when the direct comes out.
Maybe by then, my Expedition 33 boner will go away and make room for my Ocarina of Time boner. So
right. If be too many boners, I can't handle it this year.
I can't do it.
But yeah, guys, let us know down in the comments below what your predictions are for the Switch 2. What was your favorite games revealed from the developers direct? Let us know down below. And also in the description below, we have links to all of our social media accounts. We'd greatly appreciate it if you went there, like, subscribe, follow. Would greatly benefit us to help expand and improve the podcast. And also links to our Patreon, patreon.com/2game. Shout out to my good buddy over here as a Patreon supporter. Thank you, sir.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely,
and
man.
Also, go check out his podcast if you are into fantasy football, sir. I'll do a little plug-in for you, sir. Fantasy Football that. 101.
I'll take it shamelessly. Yes, sir.
I had a lot of fun doing that. I was definitely, when you have that friend that doesn't know anything in the group, but they just make jokes. That was me. I was there for the comedy.
That's all I asked you to do. I wanted to teach you about fantasy football while you shed some funny light on it. That was perfect.
And I took those teachings and wait, do what? You cut out.
I didn't say anything.
Oh, I thought you just said something. Sorry. But yeah, I took those teachings and I made a lot of championship games, but I also got my ass whooped in a lot of those games. So it is what it is. I fucking hate you.
It does happen.
But yeah, guys, go check out that podcast. Some great information. Him and Curtis will teach you all you want to know about fantasy football, and have a good laugh while you're at it.
And if Matt's on board, we're going to try to hit up some off-season content too.
Yes, I'm all down for it, sir.
Not like tomorrow, but as we get more information, once we get enough to compile enough to make it worth telling you guys, we'll look at it then.
Okay, I'm down for it, sir. Just tell me when.
You got it. Thank you, sir.
But let's close out this episode with our weekly recommendations. What do you recommend to the fine people out there, sir?
The first half of The Gorge. Definitely watch the first half of The Gorge.
Once you get past half, stop. I don't recommend that.
Yeah, just turn it off. No. Seriously, I'm going to recommend The 7 Deadly Sins on Netflix. I think it's 5 or 6 seasons. But the reason I'm recommending it, on top of it just being an incredible watch, 4 Nights of the Apocalypse seems to be on its way to be even better. But you definitely have to watch 7 Deadly Sins before you can enjoy 4 Nights of the Apocalypse. So,
fair enough. I'm going to recommend Resident Evil 4 Remake. If you have been on the fence on whether or not you want to play that, maybe it might ruin your thoughts of the OG game, I say give it a shot, guys, because to me, it has that perfect blend of horror. It has the action. You'll have your action sequences where it's just, you're going from part to part to village to the fishing village, different parts of the game, and yeah, you're shooting along the way for sure, but there's huge action set pieces which really help with the pacing of that game, and graphically looks fucking amazing. I didn't really have any issues with graphics other than one little boss fight. But go check out my review if you want more in-depth thoughts on Resident Evil 4 Remake. Again, might be number 1 in terms of my favorite Resident Evil game. It's right there with Biohazard. I'm not sure which one I would rather play, but they're 2 different games. So just take that for what you will. But yeah, Resident Evil 4 Remake, go check that out. I think it's $30 now, $20 or $30. So, Chris, if you want to play it, I'll let you fucking borrow it, sir.
Okay. Yeah, sure.
You just let me know.
I would like to see the remake for sure. I haven't played Resident Evil 4 since it was fresh and still shitty graphics, so
it's so much better than the Switch version, let me tell you.
That I can imagine.
Fuck the Switch version. But yeah, guys, that is going to be it from us. We appreciate y'all joining us for this episode. Chris, thank you for joining me.
Absolutely, man. Appreciate the invite.
Absolutely. It was great to talk to you, man.
And shoot the shit for a little bit.
Yeah, it was great to talk to you, man. I miss you.
Miss you too, buddy.
Little bromance never hurt nobody.
Yes. No, it didn't. No, it didn't.
All right, guys. Well, we are going to head out of here. Thank you for joining us, and we will catch y'all next time on another episode. Laters.
Later on, guys.